Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. As you can see here, I've got another one of these impossible monstrosities of fairing madness on the launch pad, ready to go. And what I've done here is I made a few modifications to the rover. I fixed the, most importantly, I fixed the fairing decoupling thing so that that will not be a problem again. This vehicle will be able to use its main engine. I did a little bit of work. Let me see if I can kind of get inside the fairing. Okay, the wheels. Instead of having them attached here on the ends, I used another strut piece, another girder piece here, and put the wheels down there so that the vehicle will actually have a little bit of ground clearance once it lands. And also there is now a thermometer and a barometer on board, bound to Action Group 9. And also, with recent developments, we gained the technology to have these 1x6 fold-out solar panels, and so I've got a pair of them on there so that when they activate, they will extend and automatically rotate to follow the sun, so that we will be much less likely to have a situation like last time where the ship ran out of power and it was necessary to do a harrowing EVA to get it rotated so that the solar panels face the sun again. Anyway, other than that, a little bit of supplementary strut work and so on. So, without further ado, let's bring up the flight stats and the Smart ASS. And let's send Desford Kerman, another of the Kerbal Brain Trust, which means he has a brain and therefore I trust him. He will be flying this ship. So, let's go ahead. We throttle up to about, I think it's about roughly 70%. Yeah. There we go. This way the solid boosters will burn out before the liquid fuel, the first radio liquid fuel. That all set up. Execute the 90-degree hold, and let's get this huge monstrosity of a fairing enclosed rover on its way. Now, it does take off slowly, but it is accelerating the whole time. And then when the SRBs burn out, we will go for throttle up to max. And because this thing is something of a slideshow, I'm going to go ahead and video accelerate the ride to orbit. All right, at this point we're most of the way to orbit. Got a really high apoapsis. Periapsis is a bit low, 53 kilometers, but that's not low enough to turn this orbit into a re-entry, so we're good. And we've got plenty of fuel. This thing is going to get where it's going. And where it's going is the moon. It's been tested, developed, and proved in flights to Minmus, and now this one is headed for the moon. And the testing on Minmus was because of Minmus' lower gravity and so on, so I figure it's ready for a shot to the moon. See what we can get, and so on. And I'm going to time accelerate some more to get past periapsis and climb back out, get into an actual orbit. And then from there, it's just a very simple, straightforward trip out to the moon. Okay, now we're over 70 kilometers. We can use some real-time warp. Get up to somewhere approaching apoapsis, and then we'll do a circularization burn and plot our course for the moon. All right. Let's set down a maneuver node. Snap it to the apoapsis. Add a little bit here. Well, maybe a little bit more at a time. That'll go for a 200-kilometer circular orbit, since that's where our apoapsis is. (202 by 202). All right, I'll take it. All right, this is a 28-second burn, so we'll give it 15 seconds warning. It lined up with our maneuver node. And we'll be ready to go here in just about a minute and a half. Okay, close alarm, throttle up. Well, activate that. Oh, the stage is activated. Okay, very good. Smart ASS off, SAS on. This should put us into a nice circular orbit, and we'll be ready to head for the moon. Okay, That's good right there. Maybe not totally perfect, but 204 by 202, I'll take that. Okay. Set the moon as target. How's our race? Okay, 0.8. That's not too big a deal at all. All right, let's see, we need about 800 prograde to get out to the moon. Okay, let's fine-tune the time. Okay, I'm guessing that's the wrong direction. So we'll push the time forward. Okay. Go to 1 second increments now. Moon periapsis 1277, keep going. Alright, 36 kilometer moon orbit is what we'll have, and that will be just fine. Let's schedule this sucker. 3-minute, 22-second burn. So we want this warning to be well, let's have the alarm be for 1 minute and 35. Okay, let's go ahead and get aligned. So we've got takeoff, come around, do our thing, and this almost could have been a direct descent, but not necessary this time. Maybe another time we'll get to do that. Get lined up on our maneuver node and time warp down to that burn and get on the way to the moon. Okay. Should be burning right now. I think I'm off a little bit on the timing. I didn't stop to do the math, but that's all right. We'll get there. Trip to the moon is actually fairly simple. So I'm going to burn this, and I'll catch up with you on a closer approach to the moon. All right, we've just entered the moon's sphere of influence. Periapsis is 34 kilometers. Looks like we're doing pretty good here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a retro burn, add a maneuver, snap it to periapsis, and put it enough retrograde to get us in orbit. All right, 29 by 34. That looks good. Set an alarm for it. And of course it doesn't have this information because I've had a bit of a break between the last scene and this one. So we'll just give it 1 minute. Alright. And now let's warp in and proceed to get set up to put this rover down on the surface of the moon and collect some science. Delete the alarm. Let's start swinging around. To line up with our node. And let me have my flight stats. It does take a long time to swing around. I know I could thrust for most of the way, but then I'd have to burn a whole lot more RCS to stop it when it's lined up correctly. And about the time it's lined up, I'm going to have to burn right away. Okay, let's turn the RCS off and let Smart ASS finish the job. Okay, and let's go ahead and start burning now. I'm going to put this thing down, get some science, and if it is conceivable to do so, lift off again and get to another area and get some more science. I'm not entirely sure how well this thing is going to do that, but we'll try it. And if it doesn't, we'll just abort the whole thing and go back to Kerbal with whatever science we can get. Alright. Looking good. Just about half capture. Okay, there's capture. Plenty of fuel to pull off a landing. And honestly, I'm thinking of sending maybe 2 or 3 more of these in quick succession. Land in a different area of the moon for each one, pick up whatever science we can, and head back. Just simply to get a lot of science quickly. That's good right there. Turn that off. Kill rotation. Okay, what do we got here? Let's get rid of this. We end up with 48 by 15, which is fine, because the 15 is over here where the ship will be coming around. And I think that's going to make a landing right here in this crater a good option. Alright, so let's set that up. It's set right down inside the crater. Get some science there, and then see if we can use the rover's vertical launch capability to lift off and fly to somewhere just outside the crater and get some more science. Now, who knows, if it goes really well, maybe we can go for one of the poles. Okay, let's get lined up, set an alarm, and warp around to it. 1 minute 16, 1 minute 18, okay, so 47 seconds. We'll set our alarm for 50 seconds, and time warp. Let's let it finish getting lined up. All right. And this should have us putting down in the sun. And here comes the sunrise. Definitely will be setting down in the crater. Good. Delete alarm and commence the burn. Down inside this crater, get some science from out on the surface out here outside the crater, and head for home. Let's get our surface indicators up here. Surface information. .8 kilometers above the above the terrain, and climbing because we're going over the edge of the crater into an area directly over the crater itself. Gives us a little more room to fall. horizontal speed down. Okay, I'm going to burn past the node here. Just burn the horizontal speed down to 0. Cut.